Good evening. That was a leap of faith. I wasn't sure exactly how loud this microphone would be when I said that. Let me try again. Good evening. I'm Will Brazington. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Clemson Alumni Association, and it's my true privilege to welcome each of you to this very special celebration. We're glad that you're here with us. In 6 short days, we will again observe Founders Day, marking the anniversary of Thomas Green Clemson's passing on April the 6th, 1888, which set in motion the establishment of our university. Mr. Clemson once described the importance of creating a college on the grounds of Fort Hill this way. He said, "It would ensure the prosperity of the state and be an additional light to the world." Tonight, we gather to recognize a group of outstanding individuals who personify that light to the world that Mr. Clemson envisioned. We are honored to acknowledge a few of our incredibly successful alumni who are deeply committed to our great university. Nominations praising each of them for selfless service, an inspirational work ethic, and a giving spirit were submitted to help tell their special stories. I would invite you to please refer to your program to read about the many significant achievements and unselfish contributions of these amazing members of our beloved Clemson family. For tonight's celebration, we are honored to have with us many of our recipients' friends and family, special guests, as well as university leaders. I'd like to give a special introduction and recognition to Ambassador David Wilkins, Trustee Emeritus, who is with us this evening. Sir, we continue to be thankful for your service and your leadership. I'd also like to recognize the members of our Clemson Alumni Association Board of Directors. Without them, and without the leadership of Vice President for Advancement Brian O'Rourke, tonight would not be possible. Would each of the members of the Alumni Association's Board of Directors please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Please allow me to recognize any previous Distinguished Service Award recipients or Roaring 10 honorees who are with us this evening. Would you please stand? Thank you all for what you have done and continue to do for Clemson University. It is now my high honor to introduce the leader of our beloved alma mater. His leadership continues to elevate Clemson as a forward-thinking, dynamic, and accomplished university. He's had a major impact in service to students, to faculty, and to staff, as well as to alumni everywhere. And he's leading Clemson to unprecedented levels of achievement. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Jim Clements.
Thank you, Will, and thank you for the great job you are doing. Would you please help me thank Will for his leadership? Well, good evening. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. All right. Thank you all for being here tonight for this very special award ceremony. I want to start right off the bat apologizing for Beth that she is not here. She would love to be here with all of us, but she is with Grace tonight at the Clemson Life Talent Show. I do also want to thank Jeff Duckworth for his leadership as chair of the Alumni Association and Wes Watt as president of the Young Alumni Council. Would you help me thank them for what they do? I also want to point out and thank Ambassador David Wilkins, does such a great job for our entire university, and his service on the board was truly stellar. Mr. Ambassador, always good to see you, my dear friend. We also have with us tonight members from other of our volunteer boards who are here with us tonight: the Alumni Association Board, the Clemson University Foundation Board, the Board of Visitors, the IPTE Board, the President's Advisory Board, and several of our other college boards and leadership boards. Thank you to all of our volunteer leaders for their dedicated service to this great university. Would you please help me thank them? And thank you to the Alumni Association for the outstanding work that they do, keeping our alumni engaged and connected. Clemson has, as you know, one of the top alumni networks in the nation, ranked every year among the very, very best. But we all know that our alumni are truly the best. That ranking would not be possible without our Alumni Association, so thank you, Will, to you and your staff, all the volunteer leaders, for the great work that they do. I'm going to steal a minute or two if I can. This university has been built over many, many, many years, more than 130 plus years, and it takes a lot of people to contribute to the success that we are experiencing, but 2022 was a great year. It was a record-breaking year. So I want to highlight just a couple of the past records that we broke in 2022, if I can. So 2022, be ambassadors to take this message out wherever you go. We had record number of applications, record number, all-time high in-state students, record high retention rate, highest we've ever had, highest ever graduation rates, highest we've ever had, including highest ever four-year graduation rate, highest ever graduation rate for our Pell students, highest ever graduation rate for our first-generation students, highest ever graduation rate for our underrepresented minority students. We had our first ever Rhodes Scholar. We had our first ever Churchill Scholar. We had the largest number of PhD graduates that we have ever had. We had the largest number of student national awards like Goldwater's that we've ever had, 57 total. Largest number of graduates that we have ever had. We had the largest number ever of research proposals, nearly 900 million in research proposals. Largest number ever for research expenditures in the history of the university. Largest single grant in the history of the university. That was $70 million grant that our faculty got from the USDA. Largest ever package of grants, $100 million package of grants over 5 years with the Army. Largest fundraising year ever in the history of the university. Largest gift ever by a student athlete in the history of the university. Largest and highest endowment record for the university. Largest payout from the endowment to the university. Largest ever gift to IPTE in the history of the university. Highest student athlete GPA in the history of the university. Our first ever MacArthur Genius Grant Award winner. Also finished with the highest ever bond rating that we have ever had in the history of the university. Best ever record balance sheet for the university, and highest ever net record financial position for the enterprise. It was a great year. And look, this is years in the making. Years of great alums staying connected, contributing to the university, continuing to help us succeed. We also continue to be on a number of top lists: happiest students, students who love their school the most, #1 career services. In terms of alumni, we're ranked among the best for post-graduation top median salaries and for highest paid graduates for many of our departments and majors. We rank among the best for happiest faculty and staff. And as you know, we have the #1 collegiate ice cream in the country. So we got a lot going on, a lot of good things. But it takes many wonderful alumni, great students, faculty, and staff to make Clemson the university that we all love so much. I do also want to recognize, Will, you pointed out the past DSA winners, unbelievably impressive list. Thank you for being here with us tonight. As you all know, the DSA is the highest honor bestowed to a former student by the Clemson Alumni Association. For more than 5 decades, this annual award has been given to Clemson men and women who have served with great distinction in their professions, in their communities, and in service to their alma mater. If you look in your program at the list of past winners, it's like a who's who's list of Clemson history. And I'm honored to be here with such a distinguished group and I'm thrilled to help recognize the individuals that we will add to that list tonight. Each one deserves their place on the honor roll of Clemson leaders. They are role models in many ways, not only because of what they have accomplished, but more importantly, because of the example that they have set for the next generation of Clemson alumni, like the young alumni who we will also recognize tonight. The Roaring 10 is an honor given to 10 outstanding leaders who are already making a difference in their profession and in their communities. The honorees were selected by the Young Alumni Council, and we all know that it is a great honor to be recognized by your peers. Within a few years of graduating from Clemson, they have already set themselves apart as outstanding leaders in business, in education, in service, and in philanthropy. Their future is incredibly bright, and I can't wait to see everything that they will accomplish as individuals and as a group. I expect that we will see some of them one day also being recognized with the DSA in the future, and they are well on their way. So to all of the honorees tonight, those who could be with us and those who could not be with us, and to their families, Clemson University is really proud of you, and we're really thankful for you. We're proud of your achievements, and we're proud that you are part of this great university. And we're grateful for each and every one of you, that you stay committed, that you're passionate, that you are fully engaged in the success of this university. I couldn't read a list of accomplishments like that without all of you in this room. All of you in your unique way are helping to make Clemson an even better and even stronger place. So thank you, congratulations, may God bless you, and go Tigers!
Again, many thanks, President Clements, for all that you do, for your outstanding leadership, but thank you also for that incredibly impressive list from 2022. I know I speak for everybody in the audience, just fills us with a lot of pride. So we're looking forward to the encore performance in 2023, right? And now it's my privilege, alongside Clemson Alumni Council President Wes Watt, to recognize our newest Roaring 10 honorees on behalf of the Clemson Young Alumni Council. Each year, the Young Alumni Council bestows this distinction among 10 outstanding alumni who are nominated within 10 years of receiving their degrees, who exemplify Clemson's core values of honesty, integrity, and respect. These honorees have demonstrated their commitment to those core values by making a profound impact in business, leadership, community, educational, and philanthropic endeavors. At this time, as I call their names, I will invite each honoree to join me here on stage. Then I will introduce each of them to you individually as they receive the Roaring 10 award and pin and have their photo taken. So now, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our Roaring 10 honorees. Our first honoree is Dr. Kate Gasparo of Detroit, Michigan. After graduating from Clemson in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, Kate earned master's and doctoral degrees at Stanford. She is director of the Department of Land Development and Sustainability at Bedrock, a full-service real estate firm specializing in city development strategies. Kate, we might have to bring you to Greenville, South Carolina after Detroit. She also has her own company, Building Better Cities, through which she writes and consults on topics related to urban sustainability and infrastructure. Congratulations, Kate. Our next honoree is J.K. Jay of Lawrence. J.K. graduated from Clemson in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in communication studies. He is co-founder and president of Greenville-based Lion J, a highly regarded real estate investment and development firm in the Southeast. With a focus on providing attainable housing for working families, Lion J has invested in, developed, constructed, and managed hundreds of thousands of units across 11 states. Congratulations, JK. Next is Thomas Kukoff of Huntington Station, New York. Thomas graduated from Clemson in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and earned his Clemson MBA in 2021. Thomas is a licensed engineer in the state of South Carolina who started his career with ABB Motors and Mechanical Incorporated in Greenville. While at ABB, he pioneered the design and performance of innovative products that resulted in 13 U.S. patents and 17 ABB Engineering Achievement Awards. He recently joined Omron Automation and currently leads its industrial controller business for the Americas. Thomas, congratulations. Our next honoree is Courtney Meeks of Greenville. After graduating Clemson in 2015 with a bachelor's degree in Spanish and International Trade, Courtney went on to earn her Clemson MBA in 2017. She began her human resources career as an intern with Milliken & Company in Spartanburg. She joined the company full-time in 2017 and moved into its textile division in 2022, where she is human resources manager for the division's business units. She is also co-owner and principal planner of Hudson Park Events, a full-service event and wedding planning company in Greenville that she helped establish in 2020. Congratulations, Courtney. Next is Dr. Lori Pendar of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Lori graduated from Clemson in 2009 with a bachelor's degree in communication studies. After completing a master's degree at the University of Georgia, she returned to Clemson to earn her PhD in educational leadership in 2014. She has been a Clemson staff member since that time and currently performs several roles in service to students. Among them, she is undergraduate program coordinator and the director of internships for the Department of Communication in the College of Behavioral, Social, and Health Sciences. And she is assistant director of the Irwin Center for Brand Communications in the Wilbur O. and Ann Powers College of Business. Congratulations, Lori. Our next honoree is Parker Roden of Greer. Parker graduated from Clemson in 2015 with a bachelor's degree in psychology. He went on to complete his master's degree in healthcare administration from the Medical University of South Carolina in 2017 and earned a certificate of residency training at Atrium Health's Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte in 2018. Parker then returned to MUSC as a doctoral student. He will receive his PhD in Health and Rehabilitation Sciences in May of this year. Parker, you were good at being a student. Parker's currently adjunct faculty as an instructor in the College of Health Professions in the Department of Healthcare Leadership and Management at the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. Parker, congratulations. Next is Dr. Elizabeth Timmons, also of Greenville. Elizabeth graduated from Clemson in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in biological sciences. She then earned a doctorate in physical therapy from the Medical University of South Carolina in 2017. Elizabeth practices physical therapy at 3 upstate locations, and she is the lead physical therapist for the Meyer Center for Special Children in Greenville. Elizabeth also works part-time at both the Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System's main campus in Spartanburg and Prisma Health's Patewood Medical Center in Greenville. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Our next honoree is Jenny Toomas of Miami, Florida. Jenny graduated from Clemson in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in political science, and after going abroad for graduate study in Slovenia to earn her master's degree in political theory in 2017, she returned to complete her Juris Doctor degree from Yale Law School in 2020. Since 2021, Jenny has served as an assistant public defender in Miami, where she provides legal representation for hundreds of clients. She helps them understand the judicial process, she advocates for them, and she works to protect their constitutional rights. Jenny, congratulations. Our next honoree is Rosie Vasquez of Anderson. Rosie graduated from Clemson in 2013 with a bachelor's degree and again in 2017 with a master's degree, both in history. She has worked for the university's Office of Undergraduate Admissions since 2017 as an admissions counselor focused on diversity recruitment. She helps create and execute initiatives to increase enrollment, retention, and engagement of underrepresented students based on our university's goals. Among many other roles, Rosie is also president of the Hispanic and Latinx Alumni Council and an alumni representative on both the President's Social Justice and Equity Task Force and the Council for Diversity and Inclusion. Rosie, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, our final Roaring 10 honoree is Drayton Wade of Charleston. Drayton graduated from Clemson in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in political science. He has a master's degree in the history of international relations from the London School of Economics and Political Science in England, and he is completing his MBA at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. Drayton leads product strategy and operations for tech startup Cognitos, the first generative AI automation platform, which recently raised $10 million in venture capital funding. Before moving into the startup world, he worked in the area of international affairs. Drayton has published numerous articles on counterterrorism topics and wrote a portion of NATO's counterterrorism reference curriculum. Drayton, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me one more round of applause for our Roaring 10 honorees. The Distinguished Service Award, as President Clements mentioned earlier, is the Alumni Association's highest honor. It reflects the association's commitment to recognize and celebrate how Clemson alumni make a positive difference in their communities, in their professions, and for the university. Tonight's honorees have provided service in many different arenas in which they have been trailblazers, innovators, and leaders. They have served countless hours as board members, officers, and volunteers in numerous charitable organizations, helping to improve the quality of life in their cities, in their states, and across the country. It is my privilege to honor and recognize the exemplary service of these distinguished members of our Clemson family, 4 of whom are with us tonight. I would like to ask each of them to stand when I call their name. Carlos Hill, class of 1986. Stuart McWhorter, class of 1991. David Rochester, class of 1968. Bob Stanzioni, class of 1969. Congratulations to each of you. Our fifth honoree could not be with us tonight because he is in Europe for another very special Clemson celebration. Brad Smith, class of 1982, 1983, and 1985, is participating in events marking the 50th anniversary of Clemson's Charles E. Daniel Center for Building Research and Urban Studies in Genoa, Italy. Brad will be represented this evening during our awards presentation ceremony tonight by his son, Brad Smith Jr., who is class of 2020. Brad. I'd like to also recognize it's a family affair. Carrying the torch for Brad tonight, his cousin Sherry is here as well. We thank you for helping us pay tribute to Brad Smith Sr. this evening. We will now see a brief video featuring each honoree, after which our Alumni Association Board of Directors Chair Jeff Duckworth, President Clements, and Student Alumni Council President Parker Stambald will present each honoree with their DSA Distinguished Service Award. Our first honoree video tribute tonight will be Carlos Hill.
My name is Carlos Hill, and I was at Clemson from 1982 to 86. I actually did an extra semester, another football season, so 4.5 years, and a December grad. I came here for a visit in high school, and I remember that I felt like I was where I belonged, and I was probably beginning of 11th grade when it was time to apply for schools. Clemson was the only school I applied to. And I'm not sure what would have happened if I didn't get into Clemson. I didn't really have a backup. At the same time that I was making my application to Clemson, I also was applying for scholarships. And I happened to also apply for an Air Force ROTC scholarship. Both my father and my brother were in the Army. I didn't put two and two together thinking that, oh, I applied for the College of Architecture. When I applied for the scholarship, I should also apply for a scholarship in architecture. I applied for a scholarship in civil engineering. And so, surprisingly, when I got the scholarship, I ended up having my major change to civil engineering to match the scholarship. It's somewhat flabbergasting how much it costs to go to college today, even a state institution like Clemson University. But I understand there's lots of expenses, and you don't get to be the type of university that we are without incurring significant investment. You know, one of the things about going to college is it's not just academics. There's a lot of other things that are involved and a lot of other ways to grow. That's the great thing about college is you're able to have these broad experiences even outside of your academic environment that allows you to, I think, grow. And so in setting up a couple of endowments here at the university, one for diversity and inclusion is to essentially enable that entity to help out students that may run into problems along the way that they had not planned for. So those individuals who may find it challenging or difficult, but have the academic merit, have the talent, have the drive, if I am able to help them, then I feel it's kind of an obligation. Another program that I am a big supporter of is the Call Me Mr. program. When I was in school in the state of South Carolina for elementary, primary, and secondary education, I had one African-American male during those 12 years. U.S. history, 8th grade. I know the influence that that can have on an individual. So, I think that if we are, and if I am able to help more African-American males be in the classroom, then that is going to hopefully allow more African-American young men to pursue education, post-secondary education, and maybe actually even go into the classroom. It still feels somewhat unbelievable. I've always thought that DSA recipients would be someone who was longer tenured. And I just didn't think that I was at that point in my life where I'd be recognized. So I'm honored, but still find it rather remarkable that the Alumni Association decided that I should be recognized.
friends and colleagues who nominated Carlos for the Distinguished Service Award identified attributes such as honor and loyalty as fundamental principles that have shaped his remarkable life and career. One nominator wrote about Carlos, "For 32 years, Carlos served this country with honor as a distinguished member of the United States Air Force. Through all of his years of giving service to his country, Carlos never forgot Clemson and the tremendous role it has played in his life." Another shared, "Carlos gives 110% to everything he does. If Carlos commits to something, you can count on him to deliver on his commitments." Perhaps this comment said it best. He's a natural leader, always reliable, a great listener, almost always upbeat, loyal to a fault, and honest enough to let you know when you are wrong. Add this to his tremendous love of everything Clemson, and you have a Tiger who is all in 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Carlos, on behalf of the Clemson Alumni Association and your fellow Tigers, we're so pleased to present to you the 2023 Distinguished Service Award. Our next honoree is Stuart McWhorter.
My name is Stuart McWhorter, and I graduated from Clemson in 1991 with an undergraduate degree in business. Why Clemson? I grew up in Atlanta and was around the Clemson environment from Atlanta for years in high school, but I was really more interested at the time to go to Auburn. And when it came down to making some decisions about where to go to college, all those years I thought I was going to go to Auburn. I made a last-minute decision and decided to attend Clemson. Why Clemson, I think, was because I had a cousin that was here, actually. She was a few years older than me, and I knew she loved it. She talked about Clemson all the time, and I could see the excitement in her eyes and in her voice about it. Clemson has just been so deeply rooted in everything that I've done, and I think I go back to, the day I arrived, when knowing that Clemson took a chance on me, let me, attend. There's just no way to explain how special that has really meant and been to me and what it's meant to me, as a person. So the Tiger mascot was just a big part of my life here. You represent the brand of the school. A lot of people may not know this, but when you're in the suit and you're on campus, you're doing sports games, football games, basketball games, all the different events around sports. But we probably spend as much or more time going out into the communities. So I understand what it takes. It's a commitment. It's a lot of time, and it's a big commitment to make. And we supported that because, one, we felt like it was, it was part of, I understood it, and it was part of who I was when I was here. And it was a way for us to give back to the university. And at the end of the day, as you think about what Clemson students can gain from the opportunity to do something that they may not have had a chance to do otherwise, to me is really what's fulfilling. Clemson softball is a phenomenal sport, and one that we are so happy to support. It's just turned out to be a great way for us to support the university first and foremost, but to do it with athletics, with a program that is still young and new. When we made the gift, and I told the coach this, that for us, this is just the beginning. We're not doing this to put our name on the building and to do anything from that perspective. We actually are fully engaged with John Rittman, the staff, and the players about making this the best program in the country. And I feel that we have a really good chance to win a national championship. How does it feel to be a DSA recipient? Its first word comes to mind is humbling. I mean, I was surprised when I received the news. I didn't even know what to do. It comes from a place that I care deeply about. I'm just doing it because I love to do it, and I know there's a lot of other folks deserving, but certainly I will say I'm humbled by it, but I am very excited about it.
When he was a student, Stewart was literally the most beloved and recognizable face of Clemson without anyone actually seeing his face. As the Tiger mascot, he embodied the energy, the enthusiasm, and spirit of Clemson as only the Tiger can. And although he no longer wears the Tiger suit, Stewart continues to be, as one of his non-Clemson colleagues in Tennessee put it, a beacon for the excellence of Clemson University. That colleague went on to explain that while Stewart's professional achievements are substantial, his contributions to Clemson University are some of his proudest accomplishments. Another nominator described him this way: Stewart is absolutely one of the most sincere, down-to-earth, and helpful alumni I've had the pleasure of getting to know and collaborating with. Another advocate offered this assessment: Stewart's unwavering loyalty, his faith, generosity, service, integrity, compassion, and determination to elevate Clemson and so many other organizations to the highest levels are simply unmatched. Stewart, on behalf of the Clemson Alumni Association and your fellow Tigers, we're so pleased to present to you the 2023 Distinguished Service Award. Our next honoree is David Rochester.
My name is David Rochester. I never had another option except for Clemson. Growing up here was a wonderful experience, a great town. Actually, my dad was the first off the farm, first generation to go to college, and he graduated in 1931. But I started Clemson in 1964. It was really a life-changing experience for me, as I guess it is for most people. I wasn't away from home that far, but I was in a totally new environment. Clemson's a special place. The people make it special, needless to say. Friends that I made here are still dear friends, and it's amazing how 50 years later, somebody that you haven't seen in many, many years is just like you're taking up the last time you saw them at Clemson. I mean, it's like you never skipped a beat in there. When I got to Washington, there was a fairly good group of alumni that had ended up in Washington from Clemson. And it was like you're meeting old friends again, yet only one or two of the group did I even know. But you were with Clemson people. You knew you were with family. And I know we use that term a lot, but it really does have, for Clemson families, a significant meaning. You know, giving back to the university, I think started with me when Dr. McCauley told me there's a world beyond Sandy Spring, and I needed to go see it. But it wasn't just in the U.S., it's the rest of the world. And I looked at Clemson where, so many students don't end up working past Atlanta or Charlotte, but are confined to the region they grew up in, which is great, but they need to know what the rest of the world looks like. So what we decided to do was to create a program that the administration here wanted to call the Rochester Passport Program. The Rochester Passport Endowment is to get students while they're in school here to travel abroad to less developed areas and see not only how the people are living, but use your studies and what you know to help them come up with a way that will empower them to have better economic lives. Well, I was shocked to find out I'm a DSA recipient. It's not just something I've done, but I think it's back to the Clemson family again. They work hard to make Clemson look good. And, I wouldn't be here without them. I'm truly humble, honoring me in this way.
David personifies the concept of impactful service in everything that he does as a professional in his community and especially for Clemson. One nominator familiar with the work of the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Clemson Club made this observation about David. Says the nominator, "As I experienced their programs, including their outstanding events in several embassies in Washington, D.C., their remarkably successful fundraising for Clemson scholarships, and their warm welcome to students admitted to Clemson and their parents, I realized the behind-the-scenes leadership for all this success was David Rochester." Another nominator noted, "David has set the standard not only for being an alumnus in service to dear old Clemson, but also for how to welcome, engage, and challenge other alumni to do the same." And still another supporter described him as one of the most genuine, honest, and trustworthy men I've ever known. His integrity is without question, and his character is of the highest quality. David is a true ambassador for Clemson University. David, on behalf of the Clemson Alumni Association and all of your fellow Tigers, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the 2023 Distinguished Service Award, and we thank you for your service. Our next honoree this evening is Bob Stanzioni.
So my name's Bob Stanzioni. I'm from Hartsville, South Carolina. Graduated from high school in 1965, came to Clemson. The fact of the matter is that my brother was already here. My older brother, Dan, was here. And it was really the only choice because it was the only affordable option there was in South Carolina at the time. The alternative would have been to go to the University of South Carolina, and my mother said, "You're not going there." I came to Clemson to major in engineering. I knew I wanted to do something in the field of technology, and so I came here and majored in mechanical engineering. In my freshman year, I was not off to a great start, and my dad passed away during the spring semester of my freshman year. And so it was a rocky start. Things were tough. But as time went on, I kind of got the knack of it and started doing pretty well, and was able to graduate in 4 years. It was not only what I learned in the classroom, it was what I learned outside of the classroom that made Clemson a special place for me. The maturity that I gained, the people skills that I gained were invaluable in the career that I was engaged in for these many years since then. So to me, it's kind of where the adult Bob Stanzioni was born, was here at Clemson. One of the reasons we've invested at Clemson has to do with our experience in our lives. I have a brother, his name is Jim, that is intellectually challenged. When I heard about Clemson Life, I heard about it on a YouTube video, I believe, and it just struck me that that's the kind of program that would have benefited him and my mother, who was a single mother at the time, trying to raise a child with that kind of a challenge. When we learned about it, it just hit us right in the stomach that this is the kind of thing that really matters. At the time, Clemson Life was a much smaller program than it is now, and a lot of potential students were being turned away because they just didn't have enough slots to accommodate them. And we felt like by making a donation to Clemson directed toward the Life program, that it would help the program to succeed and to expand. We endowed a professorship named after my mother, Sue Stanzioni, and that was one of the key areas. Then subsequent to that, because my background is in technology, I wanted to help out on the engineering side of the university, and so we made a gift for that college. Receiving the Distinguished Service Award is one of the greatest honors I've ever received. To think that of all the people that have come through this university and to have been selected for the honor of being designated as a Distinguished Service Award winner is just beyond belief to me. I know a lot of people that have been awarded this honor, and they're fantastic people. I'm very humble about it. I just think it's one of the greatest things that's happened.
Bob chose to attend Clemson because it was the right fit for his academic interests. He and Clemson are still the right fit for making a positive difference in the world. A friend shared these thoughts. Bob is an extremely effective leader and contributor. He has utilized his talents thoughtfully and purposefully in ways that have benefited many, from stakeholders and employees in stable and not so stable economic times to those affected by cystic fibrosis, to the Clemson Life program, to future generations of Clemson students and their families. Bob has made a difference. Another nominator wrote, Bob projects role model values of integrity, sincerity, thoughtfulness, and caring for others. And yet another supporter concluded, in sum, Bob Stanzioni has led a life of great success and even more significance in so many circles, from industry to community to his cherished Clemson University. This Clemson man truly needs no introduction. Bob, it is with great pleasure that on behalf of your Alumni Association and your fellow Tigers, we present to you the 2023 Distinguished Service Award. Our final honoree of the evening is Brad Smith.
My name is Brad Smith, and I really didn't have a choice of where I went to school. Clemson was in my family since I was born. My grandfather went to Clemson, graduated from there. My father went to Clemson, class of 1949, and my two uncles both graduated from there. One point in time, I think I had 16 cousins at Clemson along with me. I really didn't know what I wanted to do in school, but I applied to Clemson. I enjoyed art and drawing, and so I applied to architecture, and I got in, and that was fortunate because I had no plan B. I chose architecture because I had an interest in art and drawing when I was in high school, and actually took a mechanical drafting course when I was in high school as well. Architecture was really the only thing that kind of struck a nerve in terms of what I thought I might enjoy, and it might continue to grab my attention as I was in school. My time at Clemson was really influenced by the time I spent in Genoa, Italy as a student. I was over there for a semester studying and soaking up the Italian culture, and it was a time where I felt like I grew a lot as a person. It had a great impact on me personally. And then later, I met my future business partner, Joe Pasden, as a Clemson student, and he and I later started a business together. So I've always enjoyed giving back, both to my community and my school. And I started giving back to Clemson over 20 years ago, being involved in the Clemson Architectural Foundation, and then later the Alumni Association. In 2001, Joe Pasden and I started a small endowment in honor of John Jacks, our professor, which benefits and gives money to those students in architecture who are in need. We really didn't have an aspiration for this other than the fact that John Jacks had done so much for us as students, and then later as we were developing as architects during our career. And so we wanted to do something because of his time and his tenure at Clemson, and the fact that he had dedicated so much of his life to the university, that we wanted to form that endowment to honor him, to benefit students that were in need. It's a huge honor to be a DSA recipient. I spent the better part of 3 years as an Alumni Association board member reviewing these packages of incredible people that were selected to receive this award. I had no idea, never thought that I would be worthy of receiving this award. I am so honored to receive it, and it's one of the biggest surprises of my life.
Brad Smith has made an indelible mark for good on his alma mater, on this community, and on the lives of countless students, colleagues, and friends. Reflecting on Brad's service to the Alumni Association, the Clemson Architectural Foundation, and his Greenville community, one nominator wrote, "Brad's dedication to all three of these is remarkable, and it is an inspiration to Clemson architecture students and faculty. I know of no other architecture alum who has set such a wonderful example for us to follow." Another writer described him as an outstanding student, a brilliant design professional, and a dedicated leader, one who has made a consistent and extensive contribution to the ongoing mission of Clemson University in general, and the School of Architecture in particular. One advocate concisely stated, "Brad is a highly supportive, dedicated, and valuable member of our alumni community." Brad Jr., on behalf of the Clemson Alumni Association and our fellow Tigers, we proudly present to your father the 2023 Distinguished Service Award. And I believe we have a special message from Brad Sr., Brad Jr.'s father, to share.
Well, good evening, everyone. I am so sorry that I'm not there to receive this award personally. Lyle and I actually are in Genoa, Italy, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the villa and the program over there. But on behalf of our whole family, thank you so much. This was a huge surprise to me, and what an honor to be a part of this esteemed group that are receiving this award tonight. Thank you so much.
We're so glad Brad had this opportunity to film this message a few weeks ago. For a little while, we thought about live streaming him in, but we realized it's 1:40 or so in the morning, Genoa time. But I will share with this audience, President Clements, Chairman Jeff Duckworth of the Alumni Board, and Brad Jr. and myself did film a little impromptu video tribute so that when Brad wakes up in the morning in Italy, he'll see a special message here live from the scene. So we do look forward to presenting Brad his hardware, so to speak, in person in just a few short weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite Jeff Duckworth, the chair of the Clemson Alumni Association Board of Directors, to conclude tonight's program. Jeff?
Well, if I could start, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please give one more last round of applause for both the Roaring10 honorees as well as the DSA honorees. You know, as I look around the room tonight, though, and I look at the spouses, the children, the family, the friends that are here supporting these incredible honorees, we could not end tonight without also recognizing the support that you've given all of them, because they would not be here right now without all of you. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Well, as we bring this evening to a close, I'd like to invite us all to reflect on both a phrase and a question that has significant importance to the Clemson family. First is the phrase, which appears in the Alumni Association seal. The ribbon at the base of the seal bears these words, and that is, ever loyal. Now, one of the defining characteristics of Clemson alumni is our undying love for this amazing university. Tonight's award recipients exemplify what it means to truly be ever loyal. Now let's move on to the question, which appears in Memorial Park, next to the Scroll of Honor, just outside Memorial Stadium. Now, the pathway that leads you through the park leads to 4 boulders, in which is carved these profound words that are very personal, and it's a question. And that question is, how will you serve? Each of tonight's honorees are answering that question in their own unique way every single day. And because of that, they're having a remarkable impact on their profession, their friends, their family, their communities, and also on Clemson. They are indeed role models for us all, as ever loyal alumni who are making a difference and making the world a better place. Let's all follow that as an example. Thank you all for being here for this celebration tonight. Please stand now and join me for the singing of our alma mater. Thank you all for coming. Drive safely and go Tigers!